Hello there and welcome back to this video series on programming for problem solving using C language. After watching this video, you'll be able to use a for loop in C language. We'll try to see what this loop is with the help of flowcharts that we have already considered earlier and then build on it. Let us consider this flowchart which we have already seen, which is an entry controlled loop. Okay. You have begin and then an initialization I is equal to 1, and then we subsequently go to the body of the loop and condition check as shown over here. Right after this initialization you have a condition. That is, the moment we are entering into the loop, there is a condition check. That is the reason why we call it an entry controlled loop. Okay. If the answer is yes, the program ends. If the answer is no, the program goes back and loops until and unless so and so condition is met or not met. The same is the type of structure that we use in a for loop. Okay. Before that, let us note a couple of words. One, we call this I as a loop counter, and then we call this I is equal to I plus 1 as the loop counter updating, and then we will say that these two statements put together, I is equal to I plus 1 and display I put together, we call them as body of the loop. The loop counter is I, body of the loop has two statements, one loop counter updating and two the display. This same is implemented in C language, can be implemented in C language using a for loop. Okay. There are two types of entry control loops, for loop and while loop. We will see what is this for loop and then we will see what is the while loop later. Okay. Let us say we have a problem. The problem example is as shown here. Write a C program to print integers from 1 to 4, 1 in a line. As we have seen earlier, by brute force you can write print 1, print 2, print 3 and print 4 as the four statements in four different lines, and we can say that our problem is solved. But we saw that it is not elegant for the simple reason that we make a small change and make this 4 into 100. You can't afford to have 100 statements written over there. So we have a basic loop structure here. You initialize I is equal to 1. That is where you want to start. You want to print from 1 to 4. And then you check the condition. I is less than or equal to 4. Right at the entry of the loop. If so, print I and then increment I. We continue the loop again and again till this condition is no longer satisfied. This we put in to the form of a C language very simply as shown over here. This include stdio.h is to say that we are using printf, whose definition is there in stdio.h. You have three components in this for loop. I is equal to 1 is the initialization. I less than or equal to 4 is the condition. I plus plus, or equivalently you can write I is equal to I plus 1 as the loop increment. You can see that this initialization and condition, they are separated by a semicolon. Again, this condition and loop increment, they are separated by a semicolon. You have a brace here and you have a closing brace here. So from this opening brace here to the closing brace here, you form one block for loop. Once you identify this, writing for loop is very simple. For example, if we have to write a for loop to print the numbers integers 1, 3, 5, 2 in a line, you can very easily do that here. I is equal to 1 is the initial point. I less than or equal to 100 is the terminal point, and then I is equal to I plus 2. We are saying I is equal to I plus 2 because we are printing I and I plus 1. Okay, you can try several such things with a for loop to understand it thoroughly. Okay, this for loop shown here may be considered as a counter controlled loop. Okay, because we are controlling the loop through a variable I. On the other hand, there may be loops that are event controlled. For example, this is one other problem. You can try to think over what this will print and then try to run it and see. In summary, there are 3 loops: a for loop, a while loop, and a do while loop. And this for loop and while loop are entry controlled, whereas do while loop is an exit controlled loop. That's all we have for now. Have a great day.